Good afternoon all. It's gone 4:30, so I'll open our meeting for December. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we meet on and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Housekeeping, you're asked to vacate the building, exit via the double doors at the chamber and then out onto the footpath and await further instructions. Live streaming, this meeting is being streamed live and recorded and made publicly available on Council's website. Persons attending or speaking in the public forum should refrain from making defamatory statements. Public forum, we have no speakers in public forum today. Next item is statement of ethical obligations, taken as read. Apologies, we have two apologies.
Two requests for leaves of absence.
Two requests for leave of absence, one from Councillor Stadmiller, an illness, and Councillor Flannery, also for illness. I have a mover that they be accepted. Move Councillor Davis, seconded Councillor Mackie. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors.
We also have the digital means.
And we have a request to attend by digital means from Councillor Blackwell. Happy to move that way. I've got a seconder. Councillor Gallo, thank you. All those in favour? And good afternoon, Councillor Blackwell. I keep forgetting to look up at the screen.
Good evening. Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, councillors, is if everyone would be upstanding, please, for the expressions of sympathy. And we will have a moment's silence for the following: Margaret McGlynn, Marie King, Anne McDonald, Kevin Coddington, Reese Hennigan, Elva Donahue, and Lorna Thompson. Thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda, councillors, is the confirmation of the minutes. Now, before I go there, I might just hand to the General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've actually updated the minutes to include a table which was in relation to the resolution of the nominations for councillors, both first and alternates, as well as attendance by General Manager. So that's now a more complete set of minutes. So there's no difference to the minutes other than more information as it relates to what you resolve for those nominees for those committees. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So on that note, do I have someone to move the minutes? Move Councillor Davis, seconded Councillor Dodd, thank you. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you, councillors. That moves us along to page 36, disclosure of interest. Do we have any disclosure of interest in regards to matters in front of council tonight? Take that as a no. Mayoral minute, no mayoral minutes. The mayoral report for November, December is there in front of you. There was one little change, just it was a date. I arrived at one presentation a day early. It was the 11th, not the 10th. But other than that, it's all there. So I'm happy to move that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Davis is on board tonight. All those in favour? Thank you. The next item is the councillors' reports. So I'll go around the table. I'll start the screen. Councillor Blackwell, obviously that you attended the meeting and you're overseas, so I presume there's nothing else to report. You there, Councillor Blackwell? All right, we'll move on. Councillor Foreman.
Meetings is minuted, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Davis.
As minuted.
Councillor Mackie.
I just looked at my list, but I've got a couple of additions. The 27th, the 11th, the Cherry Festival Art Exhibition here. The 10th of the 12th, Boral Lions Club panel for Citizen of the Year. And the same night, which was last night, Boral Australia Day committee meeting. And then this morning, the Boral Business Chamber morning meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Douglas.
As minuted.
Thank you. Councillor Gallo.
As minuted, I just have two additions. One was on the 5th of December, which was the St Vincent's de Paul office branch at Harden, their opening day. And then today, the 11th, the citizenship ceremony. Thank you.
Councillor Langford.
Yeah, as minuted, just one extra one, the Cherry Festival meeting last night.
Thank you. Councillor Dodd.
As listed, thank you.
Thank you. I'll go back to Councillor Blackwell. You with us now?
Yes, sorry. Nothing from me extra.
Thank you very much. On that note, to have a mover to have those done, Councillor Gallo, seconded by Councillor Dodd. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors. Takes me to Community Recognition Scheme, and we have a nomination by Councillor Foreman. Floor to you, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor. I did actually attend this event in as the Mayor was an apology, and I just thought this young district Anglican ministry, as I've said here, has been providing, you know, a morning tea for every Wednesday for the past 18 years, and I just thought, you know, for the social welfare of the Hilltops community, they definitely deserve some recognition. It's a long time, 18 years, and I gave a bit of a talk at this morning tea, and you know, there's some, you know, people that have come, people have gone, and they were just a really special group, and they're sad to see it go, but they just can't fund it any longer. So I thought these people deserve recognition after 18 years.
Thank you for that, Councillor Foreman, and I'm happy to second that. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors, and we'll get correspondence out to that group. And like a lot of our groups in our communities are volunteers. Where would we be without them? The next item on our agenda is the General Manager's report. The report and executive meetings are there in front of us. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that to be accepted? Councillor Davis, Councillor Douglas. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 12.2 is the Financial Improvement Strategy. Councillors, the recommendation is receive the information, endorse the updated Financial Improvement Strategy Program Plan Phase 2 in Attachment 5. Move Councillor Foreman, seconded Councillor Gallo. Thank you. Do we have any questions in regard to that item? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors. 12.3 is the draft data breach policy. Again, councillors are to receive and note the report and place the draft on public exhibition for 28 days. Do I have a mover? Councillor Dodd, thank you. Seconded Councillor Davies. Any questions in regard to that item? Not, I'll put it. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Councillors. 12.4 is the cash investment and unrestricted cash report, and the recommendation is we receive the statement of cash and investments as of 30 November 2024. Looking for a mover, Councillor Langford. Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Douglas. Thank you. Any questions in regard to that report? Not, I'll put the report. All those in favour? It's unanimous. 12.5, outstanding rates and charges and sundry debtors report. Again, the recommendation is receive and note the report. Moved Councillor Gallo, seconded Councillor Dodd. Thank you. Any questions in regard to that report? No, I'll put that. All those in favour? It's unanimous, councillors. Thank you. We go to 12.6, which is the Information Systems Status November and December 2024. And again, councillors, the recommendation is to receive and note the report. Looking for a mover, Councillor Davis. Seconder, Councillor Foreman. Thank you. Any questions in regard to that report? I'll put that report. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Item 12.7, didn't jump on, did I? No, 12.7, Local Heritage Fund 2025. Councillors, report there, and the recommendation is there that we disperse of that $5,500 from the Hilltops Local Heritage Fund 24-25 via the following grants, and I won't read them out. They're there in the documentation for you to go through. So firstly, I'll seek a mover and a seconder, Councillor Gallo and Councillor Foreman. Thank you. So anyone got any questions or queries in regard to this item?
I just have one question.
Councillor Mackie.
Is it very well known in the community that this is something that people can tap into?
Through to the director.
So through the mayor, the most people become aware of this mainly because they seek advice on the heritage item first. So they have contact with a heritage advisor, and then through that we direct them to the opportunity to get funding for it. In addition to that, we do a media campaign, including a notice, public notice, and social media comms when the funding rounds get to start. So yeah, I think there's awareness, and it's a small population of people that actually have heritage items, but they're well aware of the opportunities to use the scheme.
And a heritage item is anything over 100 years, or a certain architectural type, or.
So through the mayor, it's actually items in our LEP. There's a scheduled list of heritage items, and so all those people have been informed that they're in the schedule when we prepare the LEP.
We have a heritage advisor do that work for us, don't we?
We have yes, that's funded via the state grant.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. So on that note, I'll put that item. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Item 12.8 is a development application stats for November 2024. The recommendation is that we receive and note the status reports for development apps and complying development certificates as of 30 November 2024. After a mover, Councillor Davis, and a seconder, Councillor Foreman. Thank you. Councillors, do I have any questions in regard to that report? I'll put that report. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. I don't want to burst the bubble, but we're going good. Item 12.9. Item 12.9 is a DA 2024/0149. Is subdivision for 2 lots at 13 Dundas Street, Young. Councillors, the report's there in front of us, and the recommendation is to grant consent to the development application in general conditions of consent. I'm looking for a mover and a second. To first move, Councillor Langford is there, and Councillor Douglas. Thank you. Have any questions in regard to that DA report? I'll put that. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors. 12.10 is another DA 2022/0141-01. Multi-dwelling house modification to increase front fence height and change doors to windows at 106 Wombat Street, Young. Now, councillors, having read the report, as we all have, it's clear that the recommendation says approve the modification of development consent for that DA for multi-dwelling housing, 4 dwellings and community title subdivision, 5 lots, as follows. In the report, it states that the window changes would be relevant and happy to be part of, but it's a no to the adjusting of the fence height. So that's the recommendation. So to start, I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved, Councillor Douglas, seconded, Councillor Dodd. Now, do any councillor would like to have any questions to the director in regard to the recommendation, fully understanding that they've consented to the window being changed, but no to the height of the fence? If there's no questions in regard to it, I'll put the matter. All those in favour? Thank you, councillors. Item 12.11, Aboriginal Housing Office request water and sewer section 64 charges. Councillor Douglas moved. Pretty quick. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Davis. Councillors, the recommendation is receive and note the report and refuse the Aboriginal Housing Office request for an exemption from connection costs in section 64 charges for the development of 12, 14A, 14B, 16A and 16B Bruce Street, Young. Do you have any questions in regard to the matter? You're on mute, Councillor Blackwell. Still on mute.
We can't hear you. Unfortunately, Councillor, we can't hear you at this point.
No, I didn't touch any. Just for clarity. Look, given. You there? Councillor Blackwell.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can now, yes?
Sorry, no questions, but I would like to speak against the motion.
You've got the floor, Councillor.
Thank you. I will be voting against the motion as put tonight. I think for me personally, during the middle of the housing crisis that I think we're all very aware of, supporting Aboriginal housing and making it easier for and cheaper Aboriginal housing to be built and supported is a good thing. I think it's something we should be supporting. I'm aware the policy that we have is different than that. I think, therefore, that the policy itself perhaps needs to be amended at a future date, but obviously that's not what's being put before us today. I think as an Indigenous person, I know all too well the importance of Aboriginal housing. Anything that can reduce the cost of that to the agency and to the people who will end up there, I think is a good thing. So I will be voting against the motion on those grounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blackwell. I should have gave the mover an opportunity, if you like, to speak for the recommendation.
Yes, I would just like to speak for. I believe that all applicants need to be treated equally. This is a government organisation that has put this through, and I don't believe that we should hold them over normal citizens that would have to put this application through. I also have a question for the director. What costing is they asking to be exempt? Do we have that available?
Yeah, so as previously advised privately to councillors, the additional costs, in addition to the 33,640 for the Section 64 charges, there's connection costs of $16,475 for water and $540 for sewer. So the total requested for the exemption is $50,655.40.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Would anyone else like to speak against the recommendation? No? I'm happy to speak for the recommendation, given that the last few weeks I've attended CRJ meetings, country mayor meetings, a conference in Tamworth, where all that was talked about within the first three things that were spoken was cost shifting and the cost to local government and ratepayers, from state departments to local government. And this is just clearly another attempt by a state organisation, who I might add in 2023 were awarded a budget of approximately $217 million to operate with, seeking savings at the cost of local ratepayers. So therefore I would support the recommendation. And on that note, there's no speakers further against it. I'll put the recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Councillor Blackwell against. Is passed. Thank you very much, councillors. Item 12.12, Burley Griffin Way Speed Zone Review. The recommendation, reports and the recommendation is receive and note the report. I have a mover and a seconder, please. Moved Councillor Douglas, seconded Councillor Mackie. Any questions? All those in favour? Thank you. Unanimous. Oh, no, sorry, I didn't. Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. I'm against the motion.
You're against this vote and review. Righto. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't remember to look up. 12.13, Hilltops Council's active transport plan. I have a mover to start with. Moved, Councillor Davis. Seconded, Councillor Gallo. The report and the recommendation is there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some questions. Councillor Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just quickly briefing over this report, it was discovered that there's quite a few mistakes in here. I'm not quite sure if you're aware, but Young does not have a Coles, a Kmart, or a Spotlight. It also mentions in one of the clubs, it's listed a club that's highlighted, I think the location was in Queensland. So the report has glaring errors, and if I can just find them by glimpsing over. On page 308, under 3.13, key issues under the township, it advises that we do not currently have roundabouts along Lovell Street. The next page over shows a picture of the roundabout in Lovell Street. And as we know, there's 2 roundabouts in Lovell Street. I don't recommend this report go out to public exhibit until these errors are fixed.
Anyone else like to speak? I'd make a comment.
I will after you if you like.
Okay. I'd just make a comment on, you mentioned the roundabout on Lovell Street, didn't you? Councillor Davis? Douglas, sorry, you mentioned the roundabouts on Lovell Street, yeah. And then there's a photo of,
Yes.
so, Councillor Mackie.
I'd just like to support Councillor Douglas there, and I had mentioned this, I think, in the briefing, that there were some glaring mistakes regarding Boyora as well. It made reference to that we were lucky to have a church when in fact we've got 3. I just think it's, you know, there's some really glaring mistakes that probably need to be looked at before it goes out to the public.
Am I maybe not reading it quite right? Has this been out on public exhibition?
Yes, it has.
That's
And
what I thought. And yeah.
we received one submission about public transport in Harden.
Does that maybe tell council, give you an indication of the response from the community on some of this work that's done? That being said, it's been out on public exhibition, but dot point C is adopt the active transport plan following community feedback. I don't know if I'm that comfortable adopting a report that we paid a significant amount of money out of another area of funding to have this report done, and I'm not going to mention the people who've done the report in public, but I think it's way below standard. These are glaring errors where it's copy and paste or something. Have these people even been to town? This report, and as much as the comment will be made that everyone had a chance to look over this, and I'm as guilty as anyone else. But I would have thought that maybe staff might have been over it a bit closer than us to start with. The fact that it's got this far is a worry. Whether we should adopt it, I have strong feelings about that until these errors are made. In that vein, I'm happy to foreshadow a motion probably to defer, so this report can be looked at more thoroughly by everyone, by all parties, and then we can come back to council. So I'm happy to move that, actually. Oh, we've had a movement second for the recommendation that was there. So I'll foreshadow a motion that we defer this. So, but before we go to that, we have to deal with the motion that's on the floor, because it's been moved and seconded. Pardon?
Councillor Davis might be accepted the deferral rather than going through that.
Can I do that?
Think so.
Yeah, I can. Okay. You're happy to accept my foreshadowed? It's not an amendment, it's a motion.
No, it's to defer. He's just changing his motion to defer.
I don't think we can. We had a mover and a seconder
Okay.
for the recommendation that was there.
Okay.
So the simple and the process way to do this, I think, is for councillors to remember that I've foreshadowed a motion to defer the matter. But before I do that, I need to put the motion on the floor to council. So all those in favour of accepting that recommendation? The recommendation has failed. I'll now put my foreshadowed motion, which is to defer this matter for further oversight by staff to come back to council. Could I have a seconder for that? Councillor Langford, thank you. All those in favour? We've lost Councillor Blackwell again. That's unanimous in the chamber. I just can't do much about the video. Thank you, councillors. Hmm. 12.14 is the Waste Management Consultation Plan. The recommendation with the report council is to receive and note the report, endorse the consultation plan timeframe, and a further report be brought back to council after completion of briefings and community consultation on waste management service plans for 25-26. After a mover and a seconder to start with. Moved Councillor Foreman, thank you. Seconded Councillor Douglas. Any questions in regard to this report, councillors? If not, I'll put that report. All those in favour? Unanimous in the chambers, thank you. Councillors, that takes me to 12.15, the advisory committee representation that we left from last council meeting to have a bit more look at these committees. There's been a crash. And it's given staff and councillors time to have some thoughts about what we might do with some of these committees that have been basically non-existent for a while. There's movement in the chamber. Do I name the director responsible? No, I wouldn't do it. No. So I'll go through these committees. I'll get a mover and a seconder first for the recommendation that's there, please. Councillor Douglas, seconded Councillor Davis. Okay. So it's receive and note the report, consider committees and representation. So we'll go through them as we go. And the first one, and it's unfortunate, is the Aboriginal Advisory Committee. And I'm pretty sure Councillor Blackwell would like to be on this committee. You there, Councillor Blackwell?
You're on mute. He's on mute.
You're on mute.
He's on mute.
Apologies, Mr. Mayor. The technology is not really complying with me tonight. Are we on 12.15?
So I'm on 12.15. I've just explained to everyone how we get the process we're going to do. And the first one off is the Aboriginal Advisory Committee. And I understand you would like to be on that committee. And
Very much so. Yes, I'd like to restart that committee.
If it's all in your hands, could it please be noted that Councillor Blackwell will be on that committee. Thank you, Councillor. The next one is the Burrawa Showground Advisory Committee. And now I'm told this is a collective of groups who work independently of council and are quite happy to maintain that status quo. That solves that. The Regional Access Advisory Committee, nothing since the 13th of March 2019. That takes care of that. Anyone who's got any different opinions about this, please jump in. I get a bit quick sometimes, so...
Mr. Mayor,
shouldn't have
I have had some people who have said to me that they've noted that it's not functioning anymore. So I would be interested in seeing if there is, sorry Deirdre, because I can see you've crossed everything out. I would be interested in seeing if there's enough interest in the community in starting that up again.
Go for your life. Thank you.
Nominated?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Regional Economic Development Advisory Committee. My notes on this one, council, is just the GM and the director, the relevant director, meet with the three chambers quarterly or 6 monthly or quarterly. There you go. They already do that. So I think if that's not sufficient, well, we've got a problem. The Regional Environmental Initiatives Advisory Committee, again, nothing since 2021. Again, out of council's league. Councillor Dodds, chase up a committee. Go for your life.
I would be happy to. Yes,
Thank
I think
you.
there would be.
Reminding everyone that these committees, if they're regathered, they are run by that group. A councillor is only too happy to attend their meetings. There is no staff attending these meetings. These committees function on their own. They won't be led by Hilltops Council staff. Regional Tourism Advisory Committee, I've got that crossed right off because I know what our tourism budget is, so I think we've got plenty of work done there. Brewery Water and Progress Association, acting independently, and there's some work to go on there with council behind the scenes in regard to matters. The Harden Australian Day Committee, no nominations received, so I guess that's another one that goes no further. The Young Australia Day Committee, I know there used to be one, but now I'm told it's all done by the director, so that's all fine. Now we come to where I've drawn a line in regard to the Progress Association and committees. And the bulk of these also act independently of council, and then if they've got a concern or they refer matters to council, which is how it should be, I believe. It works great. Having said that, if any of these next bundle of committees I bring up, or progress associations I should say, a councillor would like to represent council on that progress association, please nominate, and I'll have the general manager contact the relevant association and inform them, the councillor, whoever, is willing to attend their meetings if they would like it. They can accept, or they can say flat out no, they don't want us there. It's then up to them to decide if they want a councillor to be there. So that's how these are going to operate. So the first one is the Wombat Progress Association.
I'm happy to nominate for that one.
Okay, so council. Joanne will take care of that. The Jurgong Advancement Group, JAG, which is a pretty solid organisation on their own. The Maringo Community Association.
I'd like to nominate.
Councillor Dodd, okay. General Manager will inform them of that. The Gaylong Progress Association.
I'd like to nominate for that, but I think also Councillor Flannery does attend that one as well.
Yep, okay. I haven't got them names, yep.
Yep.
The Rugby Progress Association. The
I'd
Reeds
be happy to nominate for that.
Sorry, Councillor Bagwell?
I'd be happy to nominate for Rugby, Reed, Flat and Rye Park if those are on the list.
All right, not a problem. All right, you're on them, that's easy. Kurawatha Progress Association. Monteagle Progress Association. Okay, all done, all noted. Nominations taken down. The General Manager will notify those relevant organisations or councillors who nominated. So on that point, I'll put that. All those in favour? And unanimous. Thank you, councillors. 12.16. Upcoming major projects funding request. And the recommendation is there, council, that we receive and note the report and adopt the proposed projects in table 1. Adopt the proposed concept design and costing for Roberts Park Change Room project. Now this report, councillors, is one that was deferred, so we could get some more information of how these, what we consider exorbitant costings are to get to design stage. So we asked council to bring some more information back and put a report there, and I might even throw to the director if he'd like to make a comment on the report. I don't want to throw you under the bus, but
Of course. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so as you outlined, the council deferred this report for staff to provide further detail on how those estimated costs came about. As you can see, we've broken the current estimates for those costs down into survey, environmental approvals, service locations, contamination assessment and geotechnical testing, and then the design phase. So as you can see, the way that's broken up depends on the project. For example, for the sewage treatment plant upgrade, there's a significantly greater design component to that because it's a much more technical piece of infrastructure.
and just before I have any questions or any more comments, could I have a mover and a seconder for the item? Move, Councillor Foreman, thank you. Second, Councillor Davis. Sorry, Councillor, I got to the too keen to get to the director for comment. So, okay, it's been moved and seconded, and the director spoke. Has anyone got any questions in regard to any of those matters now? Councillor Dodd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The design of the Young CBD revitalisation, and I noticed that it said that councillors would be consulted, but I wondered if there was any community consultation around that. And the second question is the 550,000, is that additional to, that was mentioned in there, which was from the Section 94 contributions, is that additional to that money that would be?
So would it be
Would that be
700,000 or?
Well, yeah, would the 550,000 be available to be used for any projects that were identified?
Yes, so through you, Mr. Mayor, the developer contributions would be used for both that investigation and design phase, as well as delivery of the project itself, if it were to progress.
Thank you.
And community consultation?
Yes, and
as well.
there would be some community consultation as part of that project.
Thank you, councillor. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Douglas.
On the Roberts Park change rooms, it's got $80,000, but we've also got $80,000 for Burrawa Reservoir. I would have thought that designing some change rooms would be a lot less than $80,000.
So very much the Roberts Park project, the design phase depends ultimately on what council delivers as part of that. It's not just some change rooms. There's, there's all access facilities in there as well as club rooms and other facilities for that Roberts Park area. The reservoir we expect is a fairly straightforward design project, given that they're a piece of infrastructure that is built quite often. So you'll see the proportion of the cost, $80,000 the design of the reservoir out of a couple of $1 million is a much smaller proportion than what we expect the design proportion of the Roberts Park change rooms to be, because that's not necessarily an off-the-shelf product, or as off-the-shelf as the reservoir would be.
I think where the confusion came, it probably should have read Roberts Park and change rooms, as opposed to Roberts Park's change rooms.
Yes, there's probably a better way we could have named it.
There's more to it than just the change rooms, because I asked the same question. That's how I know. Okay.
Can I just make a comment? Really, it's probably just a field, but when I heard today that they had sold 32 blocks in the Donahue estate, the urgency for that backup water is more profound than ever, really, because they'll start turning dirt probably early in the year. So that's a big thing.
Buyer beware. In my comment. And I don't say it lighthearted. I mean it. It's a concern. It most definitely is for the Burrawa community. Okay, councillors, any other comment or questions in regard to that item? I'll put that matter. All those in favour? Yep, it's unanimous. Thank you. 12.17 is the Capital Works report. And the report's there, councillors, and the recommendation is to receive and note. Mover and seconders, please. Councillor Foreman and Councillor Douglas, thank you. We have some questions in regard to the Capital Works program. I'll put the matter. All those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Item 12.18 is the Operational Works report. The recommendation is to receive and note the information provided on works completed and works planned. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved Councillor Mackie, seconded Councillor Douglas. Do we have some questions in regard to the works report? I'll put that report. All those in favour? I should. Item 12.19, media releases and Office of Local Government circulars. And the recommendation in front of you, councillors. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Dodd, Councillor Davis, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you, Councillor Blackwell. Yep. 12.20 is the action summary report. Councillors, which is in front of you. If there's any questions in regard to that report? Now, councillors, this is a good report because the aim of it is to keep our eye on matters that have been put before council and to where they're up to. So you go through it, and any time you see something there that you think something should have happened and it hasn't, this is the time to ask that question about where we're at with it. So had a move in a seconder for the. Did I? No, I didn't. Councillor Dodd moved. Councillor Davis seconded. Do I have any questions on the report then now?
I have a question, please. Just on page 431, it just talks about the excess road reserve that was closed for the Taylor's flat RFS. It says complete. It's not highlighted. Is it complete? It's just, it should be highlighted. It is actually all finished now. Everything that we have to do. It's just their
Construction is to be
construction.
completed, Shirley. It is complete.
Right.
It was an oversight not making it yellow, but
Yeah, it is.
construction
actually, it's
is
all,
complete, yes.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Councillor
To you,
Foreman.
Mr. Mayor, just a question regarding the Hardin to Borough pipeline. Is that project running on time? Was it meant to be delivered by the report by the February the 2025?
To the director.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, as I mentioned at I think the last meeting in response to a question on that project, the Hardin to Wirral pipeline project is on a revised schedule following the consideration of whether to undertake a biodiversity assessment report or a species impact statement. So the concept design and the environmental assessments are currently in draft and being reviewed and will be provided to councillors in February.
Thank you for that. No further questions? I'll put the item. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Takes us over to questions on notice. There are none. Takes us to item 14.1. There's a notice of motion there from Councillor Foreman. Councillor Foreman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to rescind my motion.
Withdraw your motion.
Withdraw my motion, if that is possible. Thank you.
That is most definitely possible under our code of meeting practice, and Councillor Foreman withdrawing that motion. That brings that matter to an end, which I can like to let all councillors know now that there's a rock solid guarantee that the original resolution that was passed will be enacted tomorrow. So that takes us to, would someone like to move us into confidential, please? Councillor Davis, Councillor Gallo, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Good night to the gallery.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm coming out of confidential. Whilst in confidential, councillors are resolved at report 15.2-24/360 local small commitments allocations grant program, playground and park upgrades. That council A, receive and note the report, and B, adopt one project as presented in table 1 of this report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Manager. And that brings our meeting tonight to a close at 5:25. And just before I do officially close it up, I'd like to wish all councillors and staff a very happy and safe holiday period, as well as to everyone in our community. And I would just ask everyone in our community to, when they're travelling, to travel safe. And there's a lot of extra people and a lot of vehicles around on the roads this time of the year. Any time of the year is bad for accidents, but especially in holiday period. So I just wish everyone a very safe and happy Christmas and New Year period. And we'll see you all back in the ring in February. So thank you, everyone.